Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, today we're going to talk about your boy, OBlock, jhood, and his concerns with FUSCIOUS TV doing an interview with Lil Tim. Now, I can't lie, when I first seen this, the whole FUSCIOUS TV and Lil Tim interview, I was a little, it was one of those, because I know that FUSCIOUS TV have prior interviews with some of King Von's closest guy, whether it's Boss Hop, DQ, his uncle, things like that. And I kind of feel, like I said, I'm on the fence about it, because if you rock with King Von and everybody, or got respect for King Von and his family, it's kind of like, why give Lil Tim that platform? And I only say that, and this is why I'm gonna be totally honest, I only say that because he done interviews with some of King Von's closest guys, like I said, his uncle, Boss Hop, DQ, and all that. So he has a relationship, or some type of relationship, with some of the OBlock guys and all that. So that's the only reason that I'm kind of 50-50 about it. All right? And I'm usually the first one, and I say that because, like I said, I'm usually the first one that says, as a blogger, I hate when people try to tell us who we can or cannot do interviews with, or certain questions we can't ask, or whatever the case may be, because, business is business. But this is a little different, all right? FUSCIOUS got a relationship with some of the guys that this man is charged with killing. You see what I'm saying? Now, if FUSCIOUS put it out there to some of the guys and kicked it to them like, yo, I'm about to do an interview with Lil Tim, just want y'all to know it's strictly business, and they gave him the go-ahead, then it's like, all right. But like I said, I'm kind of on the fence with this one, man. And it could also be where it's a thing, FUSCIOUS ain't really tight with OBlock like that. You see what I'm saying? It could be where their interviews was just business as well. So, like I said, I'm on the fence because we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. You see what I'm saying? He could have no loyalty to these OBlock guys, and it's like, yo, listen, I'm doing this because it's business. You see what I'm saying? It's strictly business. It's not personal, none of that. So it's 50-50, man. And it's like people literally only really know Lil Tim from the King Von incident. So it's but so many questions you could really ask that people are going to be interested in, because like I know, people are only really watching to hear the questions surrounding King Von. And make no mistake, I think the little clip that he put out there where Lil Tim pretty much isn't really saying much, that already got like 100,000 some views within a day. So it's clear that they watching because they want to hear about King Von. All right. Now, when it comes to jhood, he also made a good point, and this is why I always say sometimes we gotta listen to the message and not the messenger. And although people think jhood is capped sometimes, you just gotta dissect, and take what you take from what he says with a grain of salt, and do your own due diligence, right? However, he says seeing Lil Tim on that interview made him feel away, but it was a good wake-up call and lesson for the guys, because they're not used to being on that side of the table where you got somebody who literally killed one of your homies and he's glorifying it, speaking on it, and walking around all willy-nilly like things is cool. Now, don't get me wrong, in that interview with FUSCIOUS, to be honest with you, Lil Tim, he seemed a little different. He wasn't really glorifying that he did it. He wasn't really trying to speak on it. He was a little different this time around. However, in the past, we've seen tweets, you see what I'm saying? We done seen Instagram posts, we done seen videos and interviews where, things was a little different. But, however, in the FUSCIOUS TV interview, you could tell he's not really trying to say too much. All right. And they even have another clip to where he's saying that the fans doing the police job, and let's be real, ain't nobody doing nobody's job, man. This was the incident that happened on surveillance camera, and a lot of people was around that seen what went down. It just is what it is. Everybody's seen it. So aside from the people talking about it and putting their personal opinions on what they feel went on or is going on, that's the only thing they're doing. However, everything was caught on surveillance camera. All right. Now back to what jhood was saying. Now, he's saying that they're not used to being taunted, and he basically says that it's not a good feeling for him, and he know that the guys is feeling it as well, right? And this is where all the dissing the dead ops and rapping about bodies you caught or know about, this is where it goes wrong, because now you're on the opposite end. You know what it feels like. And just like he said, it's not a good feeling. No matter how much you try to sugarcoat it, no matter how much you try to act like it's not bothering you, deep down inside it's definitely eating you up. And not only does it affect the guys, but it also affects the families. You see what I'm saying? The people who got nothing to do with the streets, the loved ones. They got to see the person who killed their brother, their uncle, their cousin, their best friend, their father. They have to see this guy talking about the situation over and over and over. And it reopens old wounds. You know, the wounds that you're trying to heal. You try not to think about it, no matter how much you do think about it. Now you got to actually see the person who's been charged with it. Sometimes you see him talking about it. It's a bad feeling. It's a bad feeling, man. Now, jhood gets to the part where he says the main reason he also feels away is because he feels that the whole thing was pretty much planned. It was a setup. All right? Some don't sit right, because he says not like it was a clear situation where everything is flat out evidence of what happened. But just like, you know, we already know, that incident that night, it doesn't make sense. From how Vaughn got to the lounge in the first place, to Rondo coincidentally being there, to the 100K track story of how events led to what they led to the guy waking Vaughn up, telling him Quando was even there. Why are you waking this man up? To tell him that one of his ops, as we could say, I guess, but somebody he have issues with is at the club. Wouldn't you think it's more smart, because King Vaughn is the bag, to instead of waking him up, take this man home, because you trying not to have problems go down? You trying to make sure things don't escalate? Why are you waking this man up to go fight? Or because if you know King Vaughn, 9 times out of 10, exactly what he did, you would expect him to do that, because he's seen somebody he had problems with. And he told him, yo, when I see you, I'm X, Y, and Z. So why would you wake him up to say, yo, Quando Rondo is here? You see what I'm saying? It's just things that don't make sense. So the whole fight and how it looks on surveillance, then to Vaughn being the only one pretty much left to fight once shots start ringing out and no one being there to help, aside from Muwab. Literally nothing makes sense. So I kind of agree with jhood on that one. And if you're new to the channel, we've covered the whole Vaughn incident, and plus got many videos speaking on it and how we feel about, you know, how things led. So you can browse the channel yourself and check it out. There's a bunch of videos up there, right? I see everyone's favorite argument usually is, well, King Vaughn was a killer. He spoke about killing, so he got what he had coming. Is, you know, the streets is the streets. And that's understandable. However, it's one thing to live and die by a gun, but it's another thing to be tricked and set up into dying by a gun. It's just not fair. It's almost like, you know, someone selling drugs and he been doing this thing, but then somebody tells on him, right? And then people say, well, he was selling drugs, so, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, he was selling drugs, but it's not fair, man. I can't explain it. It's just not fair. You see what I'm saying? It's not fair. You in the streets doing X, Y, and Z with someone, and you tell on the next man because you got caught. It's not fair. I know it might sound ignorant to some people. You know, you might not understand it, but the point of the matter is, it's not fair. Imagine going your whole life moving a certain way so you don't get caught lacking. Next thing you know, you get set up by some of the people closest to you. It's unfair. It's not fair. And some of y'all gonna understand where I'm coming from, and some isn't, but that's cool, you know. But something is up. I don't know what. I'm done pretty much covering the whole Vaughn, because if you don't get it at this point, then you just don't get it. All the evidence is out there. You know, do your own due diligence. And quick disclaimer: all of this is just, you know, for entertainment purposes only. My opinions and whatever. But you know, something just ain't adding up. Never in my life have I seen someone catch a body on camera, then turn around and talk about it, rap about it, glorify it, and make videos and do interviews about it, and still be able to walk free without any concerns of the law. I hear people saying, well, it was self-defense, so that's why. But guess what? King Von family told us that he was shot 8 times. I don't know what jury is going to rule that as self-defense, especially when you look at the surveillance and it shows that when, King Von was shot, the suspect, that's what I'm going to say, the suspect wasn't near Von enough to be considered a threat, meaning Von wasn't close to him. He wasn't close enough to him to do any harm to him or to be considered a threat, is what I'm trying to say, to where he needed to be shot that many times. You see what I'm saying? The shooting was initiated by the suspect, which also led to others losing their lives as well because the cops got involved in, it was a shootout, and you see what I'm saying? But I don't know, these days the laws get so bent and you never know what could happen. So here we are 2 years later and no real update as to what's going on. So let's see, man. But I just figured I'd talk about that real quick. I think jhood made a few good points. Like I said, a lot of people don't hold jhood credible, but he says a lot. You just got to sit there and dissect and take what you want from it, and put 2 and 2 together. But anyway, y'all let me know how y'all feel about this. How do y'all feel about FUSCIOUS TV doing an interview with Lil Tim? Do y'all feel that he could do the interview with whoever he chose to do an interview with because it's business is business? Or do you feel that he shouldn't have did that interview with Lil Tim? But anyway, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm going to keep on dropping. And I'm out.